Here's the short walkthrough Calibria Graphical User Interface. Here we have a main window, which is the window embedded in Santia. When we focused on the calibration task, we only have everything which is related to the calibration process in front of our eyes. There is no other distraction here. What does it mean to calibrate the system? It means that you need to have an access to the network analyzer, and this is the widget which gives us the quick access to the settings of the network analyzer and also displays us what are the current settings from the list. We see that we currently have just a sweep starting from 500 megahertz up to 67 gigahertz. This is the ZNA 67 gigahertz 4-port network analyzer from Rohde & Schwarz, and it's configured for the 2-port measurements, while this is the 4-port device. It's configured for the 2-port measurements, and port 1 and port 2 are active. What is connected to these 2 ports? These are RF probes. The probe on the left-hand side and the probe on the right-hand side. This is the port 1 and port 2. So our system is capable to do 2-port measurements only. And we can calibrate the system for the 2-port calibration procedures, and the default parameters is the calibration method which is selected is a true match reflect. This is advanced calibration algorithm developed by MPI engineers. And it requires a through standard, the load standard, the open standard, and the short standard measured during the calibration process. You also have a widget for the quick access to the calibration reference plane, which we can set either to the probe tip or, for instance, to the middle of the through, and get back to our dashboard, and we see that we just by one click we change the calibration reference plane. We also can quickly change the calibration method, which is, as I said, through match reflect. We can select SOLR calibration algorithm, we can select conventional TRL or a NIST statistical multi-line TRL to be executed from Calibria Graphical User Interface, or very simple calibration algorithm like a through open, short, and match, or SOLT, as everybody knows it as a SOLT calibration algorithm. So that is as simple as that. And we can also have an access to calibration standards, to electrical characteristics of each of the calibration standards just by a quick check. We can see that what is the model of my open standard, what is the model for my short standard, or what is the open model for my load standard. And all these models are given by the combination of the probes we use here and the particular calibration substrate. So the widget that gives us the quick access to the calibration substrate and all calibration standards associated with this particular calibration task. It's a live widget. Once we click on it, we are automatically guided to the navigator, where we can move from one calibration standard to another calibration standard, select a particular calibration standard for the calibration process, and it will be used for the calibration process, or even check the quality of the probes and quality of the calibration standard by switch between video window and the navigator window. So let us go back to the calibration, to Calibria Graphical User Interface, and you see that again we are focused on the task we want to execute. And starting calibration process is as simple as playing the list of your favorite songs. When you click the play button, and here we are guided to the calibration player, where we have the full access for the calibration standards like through, load, open, and short can be measured one after another. From this graphical user interface, we can compute error terms and have a full control not only on the navigation across the calibration standards, but also on the computation and computing error terms and sending them to the network analyzer.